Good morning, Gil here, leaving 16,000 feet, climbing to 19,000 for my cruise back from Nashville, Tennessee to Monmouth Executive in New Jersey. I'll be cruising at flight level 190, which is 19,000 feet. Trip should take me a little over 3 hours and 20 minutes. We are pressurized, and a lot of my friends always ask me about flying, questions in general, wanting to know a little bit more about it. I've had about 6 friends who've reached out over the last several years through my flying posts on social media and actually began flight training themselves as a result. So I love flying, I love aviation, I love spreading aviation to people. I think it's one of the most rewarding things that a person can do, both in terms of travel, freedom, just a cool factor, just being able to jump in a plane and go places. I like doing things that not many people can do, or things that are intriguing to most people, and I love sharing it, and I love teaching when able. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go through a few of the various systems on the airplane. Just basic stuff, point to things, let you know what they are, what they do in a nutshell. And if it interests you and you want to learn more about flying or aviation in general, just reach out, let me know. I love talking about airplanes and aviation people all day, and it's a passion of mine, so here goes. Alright, so as promised, here are some of the instruments. So this here is called an Aspen 1000 Pro. This is a digital version of what is commonly known as the 6-pack, which contains 6 essential or commonly used instruments that pilots rely on primarily for flight. The first one is over here, is called an airspeed indicator. Usually you'll see them in round little gauges like this. This is my backup vacuum. But modern aircraft tend to get upgraded to what we call glass panels. So over here you're going to see our indicated airspeed. This is the speed in knots, or nautical miles per hour, of how much air is actually passing over the surface of the wings right now. And that is recorded by a little instrument called a pitot tube, which acts like a ram air device with a little waffle diaphragm on the back that measures the difference in pressure. So that's how much air is passing over the wing in knots at 15% variation if you'd like to calculate miles per hour. So it's about another 17 or so. So you're looking at just under 150 miles per hour passing over the wing. This is true airspeed, which is indicated airspeed adjusted for pressure altitude. And then we have ground speed over here. Ground speed is how much speed we're actually doing over the earth. Right now 196 knots is 230 miles per hour over the ground, and that's partly due to a good true airspeed coupled with a light tailwind component over here, which is giving me about 8 knots or so of tailwind. Not too major, but decent nonetheless. Over here we have what's called the primary flight display, or the attitude indicator. Over here we have our altitude. We're up at 21,000 feet at the moment, cruising. Down here we have an HSI, which is a horizontal situational indicator. It's got what you see as a compass, which is our heading indicator. It shows us what heading on the compass we're flying. Currently we're flying a heading of 072 degrees, which is just shy of due east. About northeast, but practically eastbound. And if I was climbing or descending over here, you'll see what's called a VSI, which is a vertical speed indicator. It's oscillating a little bit right now. We've got a little bit of moderate thunderstorms all around us, so the autopilot's oscillating just a bit from some light chop. And that's primarily the primary flight instrument that we rely on. We do have a backup. If I need to revert, if this one goes bad, I hit the revert button, and I have a copy of it on this side. I also have a vacuum instrument in case my electronics fail. That's a strike finder, which helps to find lightning. As we move on over here, we have an engine monitor. This is a JPI 930, which is a primary engine monitor. Very important when you're flying a complex aircraft to be able to monitor your engine. We have all 6 cylinders here. EGTs are exhaust gas temperatures. CHTs are cylinder head temperatures, and then because this is a turbo aircraft. Turbochargers, I have a left and a right TIT, which is a turbo inlet temperature. So it's important to manage all of these in flight according to our power. I'm running 77% engine power at the moment with 28.6 inches of mercury for manifold pressure and 2400 RPM via constant speed prop governor. This is our basic engine instruments to show us engine performance in terms of air temperature outside, amperage for the generators. We have dual generators on board, volts, making sure the generators are working and we're not on battery power. We got fuel flow per hour. We have estimated fuel remaining. We have fuel quantity left and right tanks. We have the fuel flow since departure. We've burned almost 27 gallons since we took off. We have our oil pressure and then our oil temperature. As we move to the right, this is our navigation panel. I have two Garmin 750s here. This is where I load up my flight plans. As you can see, this gives me my flight plan and my navigational fixes. This could do a whole lot. That could be a whole nother long video on its own. Right now it's painting some weather. We're going to try to navigate around the weather. In fact, right now we're going to go direct because we are in a deviation vector for weather. We're going to go direct destination, come down to the autopilot, remove heading mode, and go into nav mode. So it puts us about 5 degrees back on course. We're going to monitor out the window for weather, and we already have clearance from air traffic control for deviations as needed. This is redundancy, so we have a Garmin 750 and another Garmin 750. If I lose one, I have a backup navigation in case I'm under instrument conditions in bad weather. Here we have our audio panel, which allows me to communicate with passengers, air traffic control, etc. And then underneath we have our transponder with a unique code. That code is assigned by air traffic when I get my clearance for my flight plan, and that allows them to show me on their radar screen as a unique code, so they know who I am and where I am at all times. It also transmits my altitude, my pressure altitude, which is what we're assigned when we fly. On the other side, the co-pilot side, we have another Aspen as another backup, and as well as if I want the co-pilot to fly. And then down here we have the icing panel. This plane has what's called FIC or flight into known icing. It is approved for ice flying or getting up and over the ice or down under icing conditions. So if you have visible moisture and it's below freezing, like now it's -2 degrees Celsius out here at 21,000 feet. So we have our icing panel. I fly with pitot heat on anytime I'm in Class Alpha airspace or flight levels or below freezing temperatures. I have prop heat. I have the de-icing on the boots for the tail, the vertical stabilizer, as well as the wings. And I also have ice light as well as a stall horn and windshield de-ice for the hot plate. Over here we have a gauge for our hydraulic pressure that controls our landing gear up or down. It also actuates our flaps, which are used to slow the plane down for landing. This is our throttle quadrant. The throttle here basically just regulates manifold pressure. The blue handle here regulates the governor for the constant speed propeller for the RPMs. And then the red indicates our fuel flow, allows me to lean or rich the mixture as needed. Over here we have our elevator trim tab and its indicator. And down here we have a rudder trim tab and its indicator as well. And I use those to alleviate control pressure forces on my flight controls in flight. So on the yoke for the elevator and on the rudder pedals for the rudder trim. Down over on this side we have all of our circuit breakers, and we have our pressurization knob. I set my altitude 1,000 above my cruise, and right now I'm flying with a 6,000 foot cabin pressure, which is why I do not need oxygen on board. I do have supplemental oxygen in case of emergencies, but I do not need oxygen on board. It is pressurized via the bleed air from the turbos. This is our suction for left and right vacuum pumps, which activate my backup indicator as well as my de-icing equipment. And we're hitting a little bit of turbulence here right now. If that continues, I'm going to slow the airplane down a little bit. And that is it. Hope that video was helpful for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this type of video, I fly a ton. I'll be happy to make more for you.